Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Weekly Shonen Jump Review. This is Fonzie,
And this is Hero.
and this is for Shonen Jump's week. Oh, great. Yeah, Joe can't say shit today.
June 24th, 2013.
Yep, and first starting off is a nice little shot of Zexel, which nobody likes to see.
And now we start off with Naruto. and Orochimaru and Sasuke's cronies.
Suigetsu and Karen. If you're not lazy.
Yeah, well, I'm lazy, so so they're discussing what they're gonna do, and Orochimaru wants to reach Tsunade, who's been torn in half.
Yeah, for those of you who don't remember, back when when the Hokage, all the Kages were OP and ready to take on Madara. Yeah, in the next panel, they're pretty much dead.
Yeah,
like their bodies have been flown all over the area. There's no point to this.
And Kari is being made fun of, for having
fallen in love with Sasuke, even though that she just got stabbed through by him.
Yeah. I guess she's like Harley Quinn. She'll just take any abuse.
Well, I think she's a masochist. Like, stab me, Sasuke. I didn't mean.
I've been a naughty girl.
I didn't mean the sword. Anyways, of course, Tsunade's slug summon doesn't exactly like the idea that Orochimaru is around again, and is almost ready to spit acid at him again.
But then he convinces her not to.
Otherwise, because if he wanted, the only reason that he's actually here is to help, and if you don't actually believe me, then well, you can go ahead and kill me right now.
And so she stops, and the healing process is still going, and
Suigetsu and Karin argue about Sasuke and shit again. And of course, Orochimaru puts a stop to it, saying that if they don't stop arguing, then he will literally eat them.
Yeah, and what's his name again?
Suigetsu?
Yeah, Suigetsu and Kari keep going, you're weird, no, you're weird, no, you're weird. And Orochimaru's like, you know what, you're both weird, okay?
And brings out his giant snake tongue and making it seem like he's the weirdest one of them all. Saying stuff like, I will possess your buddy and kill you both.
And so what Kari has to do is like, what does she do like with her arm? What is it called?
She has a special type of chakra that can heal instantaneously. However, she can't actually release that certain chakra. So in order for people to actually access it, they actually have to either stab it or... Yeah, this is the only way without killing her.
Yeah, and what's her excuse for not doing it? It's only for Sasuke!
Yeah.
She can just die.
Why are females attracted to badly written characters? Anyway, Tsunade is pulled back together, literally, from being bifurcated.
So, so Orochimaru and Tsunade, start talking about the good old days, and, and how Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke are, they're the next generation.
Yeah,
and
except,
how they have to...
can't discuss that.
Yeah, because he's dead.
Did you really have to remind us of that, Andrew? That was terrible. Why would you do that? Jiraiya was an awesome character.
Yeah, I know.
You heartless bastard.
But he also talks about how they had to help. They have to help in the war, but for some reason I think Orochimaru was kind of half. I think he does want to help, but I think he has another agenda.
Well, it seems that his agenda is actually just simply to follow what Sasuke will do in the future. He just seems to be more interested in that now than actually causing any more trouble.
But yeah,
it's kind of odd. But then again, Sasuke made the grand declaration, "Hey, I'm gonna be Hokage." Ooh, that's maybe a problem. That was my door. Wind.
So transition to
the battlefield towards where Sakura is,
and Sasuke is being kind of a dick now again, where he's just saying, "No, it will burn."
Well, to be honest, I don't see why anybody has a problem with that, seeing as how everybody wants to see the Biju dead.
Yeah, but for some reason, Naruto has a problem with his attitude.
Naruto has a problem with Sasuke in general.
Yeah, like
However, the attack doesn't seem to work, as the Biju literally slides off the part of his skin that was consumed by the Amaterasu flame right off of him.
so 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 yeah. Sasuke, your plan failed.
Yeah, that awesome attack, the Amaterasu Rasen Shuriken.
But it failed.
That's so bad.
Uh, um, even uh, even Sai, has this feeling that something's off about him.
Yeah, of course Sakura tries to play this off, but Sai seems to look already past her smile and know that it's pretty much false happiness.
Yeah, I might think she even knows what's really going on.
And yet we have no idea what's really going on. Anyways, before that, we get back to the Hokages, fully...
And we get to see Tsunade's big butt.
You know what?
Joy!
You know what? If no one else is complaining, why should you? Anyways, the Hokages have all recovered fully and are ready to head back out to the battlefield.
And then
Really quick transition.
where back in the other world,
Obito and Kakashi have literally just stabbed each other in the chest.
and it's quite pretty.
Yeah. Pretty like a Picasso painting, with more blood.
Just the
Speaking of high arts, One Punch Man is back!
Yay!
And boy, is this one a favorite of mine. This one was actually the start of when I started reading One Punch Man back as a scanlator. Yeah, I know I'm a terrible person. And as we saw, Golden Ball and Mustachio, yes, that is still his name, Mustachio.
Mustachio!
We didn't make that up. Golden Ball brings out probably the most awesome looking laser scoped slingshot.
Yeah. Even I have to admit that thing is fucking awesome.
Anyways, when he shoots the golden balls, he seems to actually transform them into whatever he so wishes. However, that seems to have little to no effect against the seaweed monster, which flicks it aside into a lamppost and actually uses another tentacle of his to drag Golden Ball through a wall.
And it's not very pretty.
Yep. That's a Class A hero for you. Fling with ease. Anyway, it seems...
And Mustachio goes, "Come at thee!"
Yep, by pulling a handkerchief out of his breast pocket and then snaps and...
turns it into a sword.
You know what?
Okay.
You know what? This one we don't actually have to explain because he actually used the only thing we can't explain. It's just magic. We can't explain it. It's just magic. Anyways, he flings off all of the tentacles with all of his...
and does his little fencing techniques. And then he makes the blade swirl, kind of like a cork. Like how you take out the... like the corks out of a wine bottle.
Yeah, but this cork instantaneously transforms into a spring-type sword and slashes straight forward.
And misses.
Yep. So much for the big attack. He didn't even have to say anything.
He just does it. Thank you. There's a hero who just does it and doesn't need to explain.
Well, he just said that's my Tommy Boy technique.
Tomboy.
Tomboy technique, whatever.
Why is it called that?
Who cares? Anyways, it seems that Mustachio is having difficulties with this foe, seeing that his most powerful technique has failed to kill him, and calls in for reinforcements. And the monster finally reveals himself as Konbu Infinity, which is essentially a type of Japanese seaweed, or kelp. And he's completely covered in it and shows both of his star-craved eyes and pumpkin-like smile, while having absolutely no color to his body except jet black.
Now, I don't know, but I always thought of him as like a reference to like the very, 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 very old sci-fi movies, that were in black and white, and like the only kind of monster is like a seaweed monster.
Yeah, except this one's actually less believable. Anyways, of course, we head back to the organization who is answering the call to Mustachio.
And he's called the Ghost Town Monster.
Which seems pretty damn silly.
And we get to see other heroes,
who are...
One's a cowboy.
Well, it seems that all these heroes are actually classes below them and aren't being actually sent out because they know that 2 Class A heroes are already having difficulty enough. And it seems one hero in particular, who looks strangely like Saitama, overhears this. However, we are addressed that this is actually not in fact Saitama after we transition back to Mustachio, seeing as if he could actually use a shower.
And he's totally beat up.
And a couple bandages. And a transplant or two. And then falls to the ground.
And his sword is broken in half.
Yep, however, it seems that the kelp monster is finally done with this. However,
But then he sees another human. And it's Saitama in jogging outfit, just
poorly drawn as usual. I love it.
and the sea monster is like, someone still lives here? Apparently Saitama does.
Yep, and of course Saitama, in his usual forgetful attitude, realizes that that isn't a monster, and simply remembers, oh wait, I forgot to buy konbu from the shop. How will this be resolved?
I don't know what kombu is, you know.
Yeah, well, I just said, kombu is the Japanese kelp.
Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh, I get it now. I forgot to buy kombu kelp soup. Excuse me, Mr. Kelp Monster. Would you? Can I buy your kelp?
Yep, and of course, afterwards, they get some information that the event has actually been ended, with both Mustachio and Golden Ball in intensive care, while the other heroes go to reconnaissance, find one building completely smashed to bits, and of course only find a small remnant of the kelp left. And of course, we then go to some monsters who are actually wanting to go to the parts of the city, who are actually wanting to get involved with the events of becoming parts of stronger monsters. However, it seems that they felt that there was even more greater threat there. A monster so powerful that it made the original 6 worse than that. And then we transition to Saitama's apartment, and he's boiling kelp. And Gino comes in by the door and asks, "How come you bought so much kelp today?" And he said he got it cheap.
Ha ha ha.
And before ingesting it, Gino's makes us aware of that. I have heard that seaweed is good for hair growth, but the effects have not been confirmed medically.
You just ruined my night.
And we get a small transition to the kelp monster, who has had all but one of his seaweeds plucked out of his head.
And he's crying.
Yep.
Like a bitch.
Okay. Alright, now it's time to get to World Trigger and showing off how awesome and bland Yuma and Jin are.
And Jin is holding the lightsaber.
Well, that's the black trigger that he has.
Yeah, I know, but it looks like a lightsaber.
You know what? If it has energy blade on it, it's lightsaber. Thank you, Lucas. Hashtag. Anyways, we get a small flashback to seeing that Osamu, Yuma, Jin, and everybody else are in the center talking about what they're asked to do, since Jin was ordered to bring back the black trigger, which Yuma has. However, he says, if you'd like to join Border, I'd love for you to join my branch. And boy, does this branch look completely downgraded than the previous one.
It looks like shit!
Well, pretty much what I would say. It's out on a lake and looked pretty run down. It seems that it was an old research facility that did research on the lake and lake life. However, of course, they head on in and...
There's a giant guinea pig.
Well, actually, it's... I'll tell you later what it is. But yeah, there is a small child riding a very large animal that looks very much like a giant guinea pig. And, you know, this would be something I would accept out of Bobobo.
Yeah, because this is totally random.
Anyways, it seems that the child isn't actually a part of the organization and just simply has residence in the building. And, of course, tries to mouth off to the others, but of course Jin, in his usual fashion, would karate chop. Even this kid has the weirdest face, and it's still bland as hell. It doesn't stop. Anyways, of course, another person shows up. So Shiori Usami, who seems to be another operator of the research center, which is kind of odd because
she's a peppy one.
You know, even if she's peppy, we can't tell. The only thing that we can tell is the background effects.
Yeah, and that really long smile.
You know what? Blandness, still blandness. Anyways, she's also another resident and not another border agent. Where are the border agents? Anyways, she welcomes them by giving them a small it's called a doriyaki, which seems to be a pancake filled with sweet bean paste in the middle.
Really, because it looked like a clam.
It seems to be that. Anyways, the kid tries to steal Yuma's, but of course Yuma karate chops him in the head. You'd think that'd be a funny scene, but it's still bland as all hell. And of course, being the nice girl she is, Yotaki actually gives hers to the little boy.
Aww.
And you know,
he bluntly says, "You're cute. Let's get married." What?
Little kids in Japan, they're kind of weird. And if you marry me, you could pet Raijin Maru's tummy, which is the giant capybara. Yes, that is in fact what it is. A capybara is essentially a giant pig-like mammal that only exists in some parts of Asia and Australia. And why you would want to pet that thing or ride it, don't know. Anyway,
just wait till he gets older. He'll get sick of them.
Yeah. Anyways, of course, they have conversations. Yuma tries to pet Raijin and everything.
Just pushes him over.
Yeah. Anyways, we get to find out why there are so little border agents here, and that's because there are only 3 other field agents besides Jin, and they're all A rank. So that means that everybody else in the building isn't actually a border agent. The only ones that are Jin's boss and Jin and the other 3. And of course, being that Osamu is here, maybe he can end up being the 5th. Hopefully, what Shiori wants. Anyways, they go back. You know what? Back when they explained what A rank is, they did that in some of the previous chapters. Why they need to go back and do it the same time again for us to understand? It's just repetitive, redundant, whatever you want to call it. We already know. Anyways, of course, Jin actually asks Osamu and Yuma to go up to the main office. And the main office is a complete shithole. You know what? I'm not surprised here when the guy in charge looks like Maze Hughes from Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
Anyways, of course, he asks Osamu and Yuma to become part of their branch, and of course asks Yuma who the friend is that his father sent him to look for. And it seems that the one he's looking for is a guy by the name of Soichi Mogami. And unfortunately, it seems that Soichi Mogami, anything that's actually left of him, is the former Black Trigger that Jin has. And it seems that unfortunately Mogami has unfortunately passed away.
Aww.
Anyways, he still asks if they want to join the branch, being protected and all. However, Yuma straight up refuses it. And of course, Osamu asks Replica, the other Black Trigger, why he actually refused. And of course, we then transition back to Jin, being sympathetic to Yuma and all. And instead starts asking questions about what his father's like. While Osamu gets a little bit of coherence by talking to Replica and noticing that Replica has said that he's about to tell him why Yuma is really here.
Dum, dum, dum. And now we get to Bleach.
Oh, Bleach. Right?
Yeah.
The series is back. After its long disputed piece of crap, Bleach is back.
It finally gets good again.
Yep, after the whole disappointment of Aizen, after all of the Execution series, which was completely pointless. The build-up was awesome, and finally we get to it.
And it was worth it.
We get many of the several flashbacks involving Zangetsu and the hollow Ichigo that had remained inside his body. And of course, all of these were prevalent scenes before he fought several individuals like Kenpachi, Renji, Grimjaw, and others. And of course, what happens is that Ichigo reminisces about both of them and decides that both are Zangetsu. He's made up his mind and has decided of how his Zanpakuto should be. We then join them back where Uetsu is almost finished making the sword, where Ichigo leaps in and actually grabs the sword still on fire.
Badass!
Yep, badass. And due to this, causes a gigantic flame to burst out of the sword, completely evaporating all the water within the area. Remember when I told you guys that? Yeah, that giant waterfall, it's gone now. Anyways, of course, Oetsu is not worried about this because he knew that Ichigo would eventually do this, being that the sword was almost finished. And of course, this goes to a big reveal where once again, Ichigo being awesome by destroying the rest of the water around there and carving out pretty much good stone out of the entire area. And we still haven't seen the sword.
I have the power!
Yeah, He-Man. He-Man gay Ichigo. You know what? He's done a lot of things with other guys before, and he's barely done anything with girls, so, you know.
He was a real man's man. Oh, yeah, he was a man's man, all right. He was that man's man and that man's man.
Anyways, Oetsu explains that the process is done, and then how he'll fight now depends on what he will do, and with his Zanpakuh toes. You know,
Wow.
plural, as in he has 2 swords. And just to make a description, one of the swords seems a little bit shorter than his previous big honking look at my cock sword. And seems to have a hole in it. Don't mind it as long as it's cool. And he has another one in his left hand that looks like a much more shorter version, kind of like how a wakizashi works. And it's like almost a literally bigger butcher knife. Still cool.
Or like just a machete.
Anyways, of course, this is pretty awesome, knowing that we'll probably be seeing both the Hollow Ichigo and Juha Brea again.
So, is he like the first Soul Reaper to have 2 swords?
Well, no, he's not the first to have 2 swords because Koiraku actually has 2 swords and so does Ukitake. And it was explained before in a filler arc that they both have 2 swords and they have 2 functions of the swords. So it's essentially like Koiraku's, one of his swords has the ability to make children's games come to life or something, which seems kind of weird. And Ukitake's is basically on reflection. Any case, Ichigo broods on it a little bit of how his battles have gone beforehand with them, and will accept that he will fight on his own with his own power now. And of course, this chapter wouldn't be complete without the introduction once again to the awesome villain that is in fact Juha Brea, who in fact is not relinquishing his command, but realizing that all of the people before him are Stern Ritter. Now, for those who don't know what Stern Ritter are, these make the 13 court guard captains and all of the Espada look like pussies, because all of these guys not only have the ability to steal Bankai, but they all possess their own, their own spiritual arrows, or, whatever they decide to form them into. And for the Stern Ritter, all of the Stern Ritter are named off of the words in the alphabet. And so far, we've only seen 10. And 10 was enough to put Soul Society in chaos. Now for the rest. Unfortunately, we have to go away from some awesomeness to go to Nisekoi. But to be completely honest, when you have 2 hitmen in the same room with their love interest, awesomeness could be thrown out for comedy any day when this is the scenario.
But yeah, so we start off with Haru and Fu. I don't know if that's a short name or if that's her real name. But they start talking about how the new girl just
Paulina?
had... Huh?
Paulina?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's Paula.
Paula.
Yeah, how the new girl, Paula, has not been showing to class recently. So they wonder why, and we see Paula and you know what? I keep forgetting her name. The other head girl.
Is it Shoro?
Yeah. Okay. What's her last name?
It's never explained. She's just says Shoro, and it'll say why.
Okay. So Shishiro does. Oh yeah, Paul and Shishiro are talking on the roof. of just, just, I guess just, oh,
Making small talk about how Paula came here literally on a whim and asked to actually be Seishoro's roommate. And just to let you know that she always quotes her by the name Black Tiger because that was her assassination name.
Yeah, that was her old assassin's name, and so yeah, they do a little like, can I stay? No. Can I stay? No.
But of course, that doesn't end. That actually ends quickly because, of course, due to blackmail. It always ends in blackmail, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, of course, Paula ends up staying with her and asks whether or not she actually likes Ichijo. I was about to say Ichigo again.
And of course, she denies it. Of course.
Yeah, because this series is full of Wsjr.
Yeah. And
it's so full of Wsjr, it oozes out of the orifices of this particular book.
And she starts to fantasize
about being Ichijo's lover, even though he's married to who's the main girl again?
Chitoge.
Chitoge.
Well, they're not married. They're dating.
Yeah, but it's like she's having a vision of being her lover, even though that they're supposed to be married or whatever.
Yeah,
it's just supposed to be that risque fantasy, Desperate Housewives sort of thing.
That forbidden fantasy, and Paul even asks if she's part of a concubine.
Ooh, this series just got interesting.
Ooh, come on, boy.
And of course, as usual, Seishoro says no.
Oh.
But then Paula gets mad.
No. Here's what happens. She starts saying like, I'm not the one. I'm not pretty enough to.
He wouldn't fall for a tomboy like me.
And she gets pissed and starts grabbing her boobs like, okay, you got huge knockers.
That kills a tomboy, doesn't it?
Yeah,
it really does. And of course, she
starts talking about how
rating system of how it doesn't matter what you are, as long as you have big boobs, you win overall.
Yeah.
Anyways, we know that's complete garbage because it isn't big boobs. It's the badonkadonk.
But yeah. But yeah, so that ends, and I guess she's doing like a chore.
And appropriately put into the ballroom.
Ballroom.
It's more of like the gym storage room. But in Japanese manga, the gym storage room is like that place that everybody has done it. It's like everybody else's McDonald's.
But yeah, Michijo.
No, scratch that. McDonald's bathroom.
Also, yeah, Michijo comes in, thinking that was his job, and suddenly the door closes and locks. So they're trapped inside.
Oh, what hijinks can ensue?
What would they do? So, yeah.
Oh, what would they do?
And so, yeah, they're just stuck, and she starts to fantasize again. Come here, baby. It's getting chilly. I'll keep you warm.
Oh, yes. Is it wrong that I'm being aroused by 2D characters? You know what? Don't answer that. I'll let the commenters answer that.
But yeah, they start having. So the only thing left for them to do, is just have small talk
about who Paula is.
Yeah, about who Paula is and how they've been friends since the very beginning, and how they were both raised.
Yeah, they're both orphans, and that's why Seishoro doesn't really have a last name. They were both adopted by an assassins organization, but as Seishoro and Paula became more and more better at this, Paula became more isolated, whereas Seishoro gained a much more appreciation from people around her. So Paula was kind of cold.
Yeah, where Paula, basically her whole life was just to be an assassin. She lived for nothing else.
Yeah, which is kind of sad, but it at least makes it a decent character, especially when it starts messing with one of them.
And she starts to realize in how she's actually started to open up more, because
she's now being treated the same way as she did in the assassins organization by the other girls around her.
and even Ichijo starts talking about how Chitoge has told him that she's starting to loosen up, and the reason why she she keeps dragging her to do all the things like shopping and just doing things that girls do, was her way of showing her to loosen up.
Get off the gun range and get into an Abercrombie and Fitch store, why don't you?
But I actually think this is interesting because he's talking about Chitoge as if their relationship was serious.
Well, whatever. I mean, anything to add the good guy persona to your harem man.
But and then he starts to mention that and then he says, in a word, you've gotten cuter.
And that goes as usually you would think in Wsjr. She gets all flustered.
She gets in a hissy fit and she rips her dress. No. She rips her shirt from a nail.
Yeah, because the plot demands that there be a nail there just so it would rip off a part of her shirt.
Yeah, but
of course,
it's on her sleeve, and so he suggests that he'll give him
he'll give her his shirt.
And that's where Dia comes in. Oh my! And here comes the big misunderstanding.
You know what? I want that big misunderstanding to be changed into, hey, why don't you come and join me? Anyways, Paul looks in with...
Hey, join in. The water's fine.
Anyways, Paul is looking down with binoculars through the small window and noticing how fun it is to mess with them. And the next time that it's going to be...
She's going to pull out the big guns.
I've done that on many occasions. Wait, what?
Wait, what?
There's no reason for that. I'm sorry, fans.
That was uncalled for. And now we get to Toriko.
And like I promised, ladies and gentlemen, the imagination shit is over with. That whole misunderstanding about how imagination leads to ultimate victory, no.
And this celebration calls for a sexy party.
Well, in this case, in the sexy party, is two burly men trading blows with fire and spears.
And losing their eyes.
Well, that's another one thing of that perception deal. You're still going to get the sixth sense thing, even though that the explanation isn't there. Anyways, of course, Komatsu is blown away by the fire twister that was ignited by Star June's sword. Kitchen knife. When a kitchen knife ignites flames just out of nowhere, you know that Chef Ramsay wants it now. Anyways, he doesn't fear too much because he's been a professional chef and has gone on many adventures with Toriko that getting near this kind of fire isn't actually as bad. Kind of actually gotta make that a little bit more to Komatsu, the fact that he's actually been through some of this stuff. Anyways, they continue to change blows as Toriko makes a cool looking fork armor. He's literally made the fork shield into armor.
He looks like a Kamen Rider.
This is the edible shredder. Anyways, but that armor doesn't work too well because Starjun just flings it away once again by melting the fork armor. However, Toriko comes back with a twin nail gun attack straight to Starjun's chest. However, Starjun pulls out his own type of impact by using the burner crisp skewer. By twisting the flames on his knife, he can actually pierce Toriko's body.
Now, I'm going to say this is really over the top.
Oh, more over the top than, Jonathan Kent just simply standing as the twister comes to grab him?
That's not over the top.
You don't disappear in a tornado. You get flung across the city.
You don't get stabbed like a million times, and just keep walking, and just keep walking like it ain't no thing.
Which is more plausible, movie magic or manga magic? Wait, this argument is invalid. It's fucking fairies. Anyways, before that argument of which I was right in the first place continues, we go back to Toriko actually repeating that blow with a nail gun kick to Starjun's chin after being stabbed, and after getting the sword out of his chest.
Why aren't they dead yet?
Fairies.
No. This is not frickin' fairy tale, okay?
Fairies.
No.
Anyways, Toriko considers that the fact that Starjune's flames are way too powerful that they not only burn the crisp off the air, yeah, that's a thing, but also have the high thermal power to actually melt metal. So of course then Toriko realizes that most of his attacks have to be made at much closer range. They can't just simply be shot at. And of course, Toriko thinks of a new strategy. But with that case, that Sixth Sense thing comes up as both of their faces have literally been blown to smithereens. I'm sorry, but that's kind of silly. Anyways, they go and trading blow for blow with Starjun trying to repeatedly stab Toriko as Toriko constantly tries to knock out Starjun. And of course, it seems that Starjun realizes that his sword will be cut by Toriko, and that he'll get enough chance to cut off Toriko's leg. He then tries to go in full force, but then realizes that, whoops, I miscalculated. My sword actually went flying off. My knife literally just got split in half. And that Toriko has just won this bout with a double nail gun, 60-fold knife nail gun, 70-fold fork nail punch. Yep, Starjun's dead. Literally coughing up more blood than a donor center. Toriko screams in battle as the fight finishes, but Komatsu notices something. But that will be left till later.
They both die.
And getting to Yu-Gi-Oh! Sex Doll. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I have no problem with Yu-Gi-Oh! Sex Doll because whereas the other series were implausible beyond point, this one actually made it worthwhile. The reason is because in this version, the more futuristic one, if you've already seen the series or have not, the holograms are actually only seen via a type of visor. This actually makes the idea of constant holograms being everywhere for everybody to see doesn't actually apply in this world. So when you automatically throw that out the window in this series, it starts to get into that point where you have to point out meaningless, illogical bunk. Anyways, of course, we go back to the recap where both Kite and Shark are being held in by the number cards known as Kane's Doom and Abel's Doom. Yeah, let's see if that gets past the censorship. Anyways, it seems that they are literally suspended. I'm not kidding, ladies and gentlemen. They have literally been put on crosses, which is pretty awesome. Pretty awesomely terrifying, mind you. But that we're going back to this whole Shadow Realm bullshit where you can just screw with anybody just because you have a card.
Yep.
No, you cannot do that. And of course, the villain boasts about how he actually planned this from the get-go to get Kite and Shark to duel each other, being that these two are the most powerful duelists that he has noticed outside of the organization.
Joke's on him.
Well, Yuma challenges him to a duel and says that if he wins, that he releases Kite and Shark at the same time, instead of taking just Kite back. However, the villain wants something in return instead of simply winning the duel and winning Shark and Kite over. He wants the Star Key, which is essentially what Yuma has been carrying around his neck. It's no Millennium Puzzle, but it's definitely worth something to the antagonists. Anyways, of course, in order to actually do this, he actually gives them a small rule. If you want to save them, you have to defeat me in a duel. Well, he constantly has both not only Kane's Doom out and Abel's Doom out, which both have attack points of 500. So this at least makes it a little bit more easier for him to fight, but then again, he already has to exceed monsters out.
Yeah.
So the duel is commenced, and as in fashion, nothing really happens for a couple of minutes, and they just trade dialogue pointlessly. You can't win this duel. Yes, I can. No, you can. Yes, I can. Well, if you're going to anyways. And, of course, Yuma reminisces about facing off against another duelist beforehand, and then the duel starts. Nope, more dialogue. More dialogue. More dialogue.
More freaking dialogue.
Seriously, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not passing this because I don't want to. It's because that they don't. it's because that the dialogue is so pointless.
And then the big chested girl shows up.
Who's essentially like Shark's companion or something. I like that kind of companion.
Yeah.
Ones
with breasts and all the rest.
Anyways, it seems that also Yuma is going in with only a limited amount of life points. The amount of life points that Shark and Kite had total.
1998, huh?
Was that supposed to be funny to a year or something?
No, 1998. That's when Yu-Gi-Oh started in the U.S.
Good one, Bandai.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, go fuck off. Anyways, the duel finally starts, and of course, the main villain decides to, you know what, the guy used religious-based cards, why is he using Planaria now? Planaria is essentially the multi-celled organism that knows how to do spontaneous regeneration. Also known as split regeneration, as in, hey, look at me, I can create two people now. And by this, he actually kind of cheats with that card and summons another number monster known as the Shadow Lich.
The Lich from Adventure Time?
Well, whatever. Anyways, of course, now that since he has now 3 Exceed monsters, he now uses them to attack each other, constantly draining away Kite and Shark's life points as well. You know what? This is kind of silly, because now the rules have changed. Now, not only does Yuma have to worry about his life points, but now he has to worry about Shark's, about how he has to worry about Kite's, and about his own, and the villain gets 2 monsters to attack with, and since he's suspended Shark and Kite, they don't get to play any cards. This is... No. This is... Just play your cards on a table like a normal person. Anyways, of course, Yuma uses a certain strategy to get out his Utopia out. But does this work? Nope, because the Shadow Lich had separated itself into 5 individual monsters. See, he has 2 monsters already out, and then he summons 5 tokens. It doesn't work. Anyways, of course, Utopia gets the chance. Utopia doesn't actually stand a chance because now the Lich separated itself, and its tokens can attack the life points directly, turning down Yuma's life points now to 1498. Great. Inaccuracy all the way. And of course he then reanimates the Shadow Lich by using all 5 tokens to bring it back. And of course it's ready to do its attack. Of course, then another trap card is played. No, this is too extensive. Anyways, he uses Kane's Doom attack to attack Shark again, and now
and they both have 1 point.
Yep, and Yuma has...
I had not seen a 1 life point since the Winged Dragon of Ra.
Yeah, good lord. Hey, look at me, I'm on top of the dragon. Anyways, that seemed to have been it for now. And with a little bit of a introduction to the Lord of Tachyon Galaxy, which pack includes the return of Harpies. Now we get to Dragon Ball Z, which is awesome again.
Hey Vegeta, more ball people. The small one, the 2 tall ones, and... Oh, Vegeta, look! A Pokemon!
More Teams 4-star references, ladies and gentlemen. They will never die.
It never gets old.
Anyways, of course they trade useless dialogue about how they're each underestimating each other and how Piccolo's going to obliterate them, and that if you kill me...
Bitch, he might be.
Bitch, I might be. I might be the great Namek that made the Dragon Balls. I might know the secrets.
But yeah, they get ready to fight more power level things, and Vegeta says it's totally useless.
Yeah, there's no point in the power level thing. And of course they're ready to get started. However, they said that there's no point in wasting their energy. So he says for Nappa to use the Cybermen.
Which they're made of radix.
Yep, you know what? I should just make a green people reference here. It's Soylent Green. It's made out of people. These kind of people. That was terrible. Somebody make it better. Anyways, before the Cybermen can attack, Chaozu and Tien arrive.
Yay!
You know what? We don't have to say yay. We already know what happens to the poor bastards.
Yep. And who comes out after that? The person who's gonna die first.
Yamcha.
He's gonna be Yamcha'd.
It's not a spoiler alert if it's obvious.
He's gonna be Yamcha'd later.
Yep, and of course the battle starts with one of the Cybermen trying to take on Tien. But that's like a kid trying to take on a four-cylinder Hummer.
And by the way it's drawn, it looks like he hit him in the crotch.
You know what? I don't mind.
And another Cyberman spurts out something.
It's acid. It's never
acid, which
nearly hits Krillin, but of course Krillin evades it, as in his comical style, and Tien punches the Cyberman to death. Seriously, it looks like he literally just punched him in his own brain. Anyways, of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we get on to that, we are making before we all end, we are once again getting One Piece back. As you noticed, we didn't have One Piece last time, which makes Fonzie very, very sad. And of course, Toriko will be back with special surprises in the battle between Starjun and Toriko.
And now we shall get to Fairy Tail, the epic finale of the battle.
The battle between the dragons and mages. And we're starting off with a cat dance.
And some awesome fan art of Lucy's.
Well, it's all the 12 Zodiac keys. Remember, not all of them are.
And the most epic fan art ever.
Natsu holding a flag. If you make that an American flag, would that be racist?
No, it would be awesome.
And of course, we start with the scene with the Eclipse Gate completely destroyed after Mother Greya fell into it from Natsu's attack.
Yay, it's destroyed!
While Natsu stands over Sting Rogue, who seems to be, and I'm not going to say it, but steaming. But noticing that Sting Rogue has been defeated, and since the Eclipse Gate has been destroyed, time will soon rewind, as Charlie says, and it in fact does, as Sting Rogue and all the other dragons seem to be glowing and are now returning back to their own time.
But one dragon doesn't want to leave.
Yep, the infamous Zilcones. The dragon who destroys pride. And of course he's upset the fact that he was beaten by puny humans, but of course the princess wants to make acknowledgments to the dragon. And for the fact that
it was all her fault, and
that you can blame me, not every human in the world. So Zilcones asks who she is so that he could eventually take revenge on her.
And she gives us the name that her name is Hisui Fiore. Hisui? Yeah, yes, the same as the color of your body, jade.
Yeah, Hisui is another translation for name of Jade. And of course, Zilcones finds this very interesting and finds that he shouldn't. That the princess.
Jade dragon. They got a nice retweet. Oh shit!
Yep, got tricked before he said back to the past. You're a fool.
That was actually funny.
And with that, every dragon also disappears along with Zilcones, and everybody is now recovered back from their battles.
I'll never forget you, Natsu. Thanks for your help, Uncle.
He's not his uncle. He's just a friend of Igneal.
And so they're gone. All the little dragons are gone. Everyone's happy. Yay! We won the day. But then, what's her name? The ghost.
Oh, Mavis?
Yeah, and then Mavis realizes that not a single dragon slayer managed to defeat any of the dragons.
Yep, and of course Cobra's pissed off this, saying that he's had a bad taste left in his mouth.
And Steen is kind of talking how he was not able to kill a single dragon, and think about how weak he has become.
Well, it's not how they become, it's just that how overwhelming the power of real dragons are. But of course, other people are more happy about the fact that they actually defeated it. So obviously the people known as Dragon Slayers take it much more to heart when they can't kill a dragon.
Yeah. And see, suddenly Rogue turns into Sting Rogue.
No. This is Rogue right now. See, look at this. This is Row, Sting Row.
Oh, okay.
It's simply a It's basically a compatible transition. It's where you show the same image, but this image is something different or relatable to that particular image.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Yep. So he fades away, but of course, then we get a little bit of a warning from Sting Rogue that the darkness within me is permanent.
Which we're still guessing I'm involved with Seraph.
Yeah, I'm still going with that because Jarrell picked up on it and picked up on this and noticed that there were two people who had that same ability of future change that which Zareth allowed, and that was Future Lucy and Sting Rogue. And of course, through all of this, he actually makes on the promise that Frosh will be killed. You mean the cute little cat that's in the frog suit?
Yep. And doesn't really explain how.
Does he have to explain? That's just hellish enough, knowing that the small little kitty's gonna die.
And Natsu... Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, but first, we get a shot of future Lucy dying and being transported to the past.
Yeah, back to her own time. And, of course, she wonders where she is. And, of course, it's back to the way it was.
The end.
Just a beautiful, beautiful field of green grass and the sun glowing as all of her friends are there with her.
And Future Lucy's journal is disappearing as well. And she hugs Natsu, saying thank you.
Pretty much like that, like feelings across afar. I'm really happy to see you. It's like the future Lucy or whatever. Anyways, that is the end of it.
And in the next issue, we're getting a triple chapter with full color pages.
Which is nice. It's probably all filler.
Yeah, probably all filler. And the next chapters are going to be Chapter 3, 338, the
Great Dance Tournament.
339, the Starfrost Essence, and 340 Gift.
Well, we'll see what all that is till next time on next week's Weekly Shonen Jump Review. This has been Fonzie.
And this is Hero.
And we're signing off.